welcome to Libel on Fire. We're going to be talking about your mortgage. I'm really well, and I'm excited about this particular topic, largely because I'm a homeowner. And every now and then, in the type of work that I do, I get an extra $100 here or a couple $100 there. And I'm wondering if I should be putting that money toward trying to pay down the debt on my mortgage.
Welcome to Label on Fire with Label Sternbach, the financial independence and retirement show dedicated to helping you build the life of your dreams as fast as possible with as little stress as possible. Amazon best-selling author Label Sternbach is the author of both Living with Financial Anxiety and Authenticity. Label's advice has been featured in countless publications, including Reader's Digest, USA Today, Yahoo Finance, CNN Business, Investment News, and MarketWatch. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Label on Fire.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Freddie Bell, and welcome to Libel on Fire. I have the esteemed pleasure of being with Label Sternbach, Amazon's best-selling author of Living with Financial Anxiety and the book entitled Authenticity. Today, we're going to be talking about your mortgage, but first of all, Libel, hello and welcome back.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm really well, and I'm excited about this particular topic, largely because I'm a homeowner. And every now and then, in the type of work that I do, I get an extra $100 here or a couple $100 there. And I'm wondering if I should be putting that money toward trying to pay down the debt on my mortgage.
So that is a really great question. And it's something that I've been getting a lot more of. People asking me this question of, should I pay off my mortgage? How should I pay it off? Should I pay it off early? Should I just make the minimum payment? And I think that this is one of those questions that if you go and Google or you go and you ask your friends or you post it in a Facebook group, you're going to get one set of answers. And I think that this is one of those questions where the answer that was right for the last 20 years is not the same answer as what is going to be right moving forward. Because I think that the math behind that answer is really dependent on where interest rates are right now, what interest rate you have for your mortgage, and what our expectations for the future. Let's break this down, right? What is the reason for paying off your mortgage early? Why would you make an extra principal payment on your mortgage?
To pay off the mortgage in maybe 15 years rather than 30 years.
Right. Now, what economic benefit is there to you for doing that? You could go on one route and say, it's no economic benefit. It makes me feel better. I like knowing that I'm living in a house and I fully own it and nobody can take it away from me, right? And if that's your answer, then the answer will always be yes, go pay off your mortgage early, right? However, there's another answer, which is I want to pay less interest. And arguably, you can even say if you want to pay off your mortgage as quickly as possible, but this next answer is probably right for you as well, but it doesn't feel as good. It doesn't feel as right. And that is doing arbitrage, right? We've talked about this before on the show of arbitrage is taking advantage of a mismatch in pricing. And when we think about our mortgage, I want you to think about your mortgage as a business, right? You've got assets, you got liabilities, you got things that generate income, you have expenses. And when we think of our house, we've got equity in it, right? That's an asset.
Mm-hmm.
And then the liability is our mortgage, right? And we have a payment that we make. Now, that extra payment that we would make, right? We're paying interest on this mortgage, right? For the benefit of being able to own this property, we're paying interest on that mortgage. If the interest that you're paying is, let's say, 2% or 3%, which I see a lot of people have because they got mortgages in the last 15 years and interest rates were really low. If you have something that's that low, and you could invest it in the market over the next 10 years and make 10% a year in the market or 7% a year in the market, you're going to make a profit of 5 to 7% above your mortgage cost.
That's not a bad deal.
No, not a bad deal. Now, there's a strategy out there, and this is done as built into mortgages in Europe, but there's a strategy out there where instead of paying off your principal, you take that extra money that you would use to pay off your principal, you invest it in the market, and then you use that money to pay off your mortgage. So you have a 30-year mortgage. you pay it off in 15 years because of this money that you've accumulated in the market. And there are even mortgage companies that will like structure this for you and do this for you automatically. Not so much in the US, but overseas, you have that. It's a lot more common. And it's because of this mismatch in pricing, right? Interest is one thing, it's usually a very low return compared to what you can get in the market. And because you have 15 years or 30 years, you have this ability to take advantage of the long term trends of the market. Now, here's where the math changes, right? This is where I think that the answer that was right for the last 15 years may not be right for the next 15 years. In the past, right, if you have a mortgage that's 2-3%, right, then usually investing in the market is the right answer, especially in a down market, right? In the down market, we know that the market's going to increase and it's going to recover because that is inflation demands that the market increases. Right now, how long it'll take to increase, whether it will always go up, it will always go up, but we just need to be able to hold on long enough. And if we have 15 years, 15 years should be long enough to hold on to get that recovery. If you told me you have 5 years, that's a different story. I'd probably say don't do it. But if you got 15 years, then you can take advantage of that. Interest rates, on the other hand, right? If interest rates aren't going to go up, it goes up 5-6%, but it's not going to provide that same return. Now, if you have a mortgage that you got in the last year, right, or you get a mortgage next year, your interest rate is going to be much higher, right? The difference between what you can get in the market versus what you're paying on your interest isn't going to be that much. And so the calculus is going to change. And so you'll have people who have mortgages at 2%, 3%, and for them, investing in the market makes a whole lot of sense. And then you have people who have mortgages at 4 or 5 or 6%, and for them, investing in the market doesn't make sense because, well, you're going to invest in the market, you're going to take on all that risk for an extra percentage or two. That doesn't make sense.
So the answer to the question then, so should I pay off my mortgage early? The answer seems as if it depends.
Yeah, and here's the truth, right? When it comes to finances, the answer should always be it depends, because what's right for you is not what's right for your friend. And if somebody gives you a blanket answer and says, no, this is always the right answer, then they just don't know enough to know all the exceptions. And so when it comes to paying off your mortgage early or mortgage late, I'd ask the better question is, number one, let's take the non-financial answer, right? And say, and this is the Dave Ramsey answer, right? Does it make you sleep better at night? Right? Does it give you a certain amount of satisfaction? I know I get a lot of comfort from knowing that not having a mortgage payment and that kind of stuff, that gets me up in the morning, right? That's something that gives me comfort. I would love to not have that burden. So that is something that is a reason to do it. It's non-financial. Does it make sense financially? Maybe not, but it gets me up in the morning. Right? It gets me out of bed.
That has a lot of value. And you're talking about Dave Ramsey. What do you think about his advice in having no debt?
I think that you need to approach that question, not from a financial perspective, but from a psychological perspective.
Interesting.
And here's the thing, right? If you read my book, I talk about this a lot. My premise is that you cannot make sound financial decisions if you are not in a place where you feel safe. Right. So if you are constantly worrying, will I lose my job? Will I lose my house? Will I be able to put food on the table? Will they repossess my car? If these are concerns for you, if you find yourself having these thoughts, then you absolutely should pay off your house and your car, and you should follow that advice of not being in debt, because having that weight on your head, on your shoulders, is causing you to make short-term decisions that harm your long-term future, because your mind is everything could disappear tomorrow. So what difference does it make? Why would I plan for my future when I'm not going to have a tomorrow?
Wow. It's really interesting to me. And I've read a lot of your material, how much the psychological piece of this really plays into the financial. And I believe, I'm just going to ask, is that a big miss for a lot of people that you talk to?
Yes, I think it very much is. I think to a certain extent, as an industry, it's a little bit of a miss that we're slowly coming to recognize. But I think it's also a little bit of a gender thing.
Really?
Yeah, I think that the traditional, like when you think about, and I'm going to use these terms of masculine, like when we think of the traditional, I want to fix things, right? Versus I want to feel things. So the people who are more inclined to fix things, you give them a problem, they fix it, and they think about things logically. To them, they're going to look at the hard facts of which will give me more, right? I'm going to play the credit card game. I'm going to play the interest game. I'm going to play the whatever. But for every person who has that, they have a spouse who's I want to feel things. I want to feel heard. I want to feel understood. And to them, that emotional need is a lot more important than the number thing. And the fact is that we're like a blend of both, right? And so in some areas, we may want to think more. In some areas, we want to feel more. But unless you have both operating in harmony, you're going to just make bad decisions, right? For one reason or the other.
Exactly. Everybody, Leibel Sternbach with us this weekend. We're talking about paying off your mortgage early. If you were to put this in a package and sitting as you are right now, you're sitting across and people are listening to you, what would you tell them, and what would be a 3-step process that you would outline today that can help to steer someone emotionally through this, financially through this, and with an eye on a tax savings as well?
Yep. So number one question is, what is more important to you? Do you feel burdened by your mortgage? Is the emotional or is the financial more important to you? That's question number one. And if the emotional is more important to you, then you already know the answer that you should take, right? If the financial is more important to you, or they're both equally important, then the next question you have is quantify what the financial benefit is, right? The reason why rich people are rich is because they take the time to do the hard work. Answer the damn question. Which is better for you? Which will provide you more economic value? Paying your mortgage off early or paying it off later, right? It might take you an hour or two to sit there with an Excel spreadsheet or a calculator and figure it out. You can do your long division. You can use freaking beats and abacus. I don't care. Figure out which is more valuable to you, paying it off early or paying it off later, right? Once you have the answer to that question, right, it's the answer of what you should do should be obvious. And generally what I find is that it's some combination of the two, right? So what you'll usually find is I value paying it off early, or I value having the greater growth of my retirement, but there's a certain amount that I like not having a mortgage. And so you figure out what that balance is and you do it. And I think the big miss that we have as financial advisors, we like to look at the numbers because we're engineers, right? That's why we became financial advisors. It's either we're engineers or we're feeling people, but some aspect of us is we love numbers. We're geeks, we're nerds. And we tend to forget that there's a very large part of this decision that is not financial, that's not quantifiable, that has everything to do with what lets you sleep at night.
Makes a lot of sense. Tell us about the resources that you have that will help us navigate through this.
Can't stop recommending this enough. Go through my book, Living with Financial Anxiety. I go through step by step how to answer these questions, right? I have a framework for how I make every single financial decision. And, the questions that I ask myself, and this is really what I teach my clients how to do. And I walk them through it as they go through it is, how do we assess each decision we make so that it sets us up for long-term success and it's something that we can live through? I walk through it with my book. Go on my website, read my articles, listen to podcasts. The resources are there. Email me, right? Let me know what your thoughts are, what your questions are, how I can help you. I do this for you guys.
And you can make the connection by going to yields4u.com, yields, the number 4, the letter u.com, and you can find information about the books Leibel's written, the special reports, the classes, and all of that. Leibel, I can't thank you enough for being with us. Leibel is on fire, and we'll join you again next time. Thanks for being with us.
If you would like to see how the Yields for You team can help you get off the Wall Street roller coaster and save you money on taxes so you can live the life of your dreams, book an appointment online at yields4u.com. That's yields4u.com. Or call 410-914-4894. That's 410-914-4894. 4894.
Yields for You is a registered investment advisor in the state of New York and only transacts business in states where the firm is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement. Information presented on this program is believed to be factual and up to date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. Discussion should not be construed as an offer to buy or sell or solicitation of any offer to buy or sell the investments mentioned. Annuity guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Content should not be viewed as legal or tax advice. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation.